There's a thought-provoking idea that has been making the rounds recently. It's the notion that we could all be living inside what has been called a mental prison. Sounds strange, right? But let me tell you, this isn't your typical jail cell with bars and walls. This prison is much more subtle. It's a prison of perception, a cage built from our own thoughts, decisions and emotions that we might not even realize exists. One of the most intriguing things about this idea is that it was actually first brought up not in a modern self-help book, but in Plato's ancient text, the Republic. According to Plato, most people live in this invisible confinement because they never really question the framework or model of the world they have in their minds. They just accept it as truth without ever stopping to ask whether it's accurate or complete. It's like using the same map to navigate life over and over again without checking if it's up to date or relevant. So how do you know if you're inside this mental prison? Well, according to the wisdom of Plato and some fascinating research in psychology, there is a key sign. Are you ready for it? Drum roll, please. It's your emotional reaction to information that contradicts your existing beliefs. Let me explain. Picture this. You've got this cozy little belief or idea that you're really attached to. It might be something about yourself, the way the world works, or just about anything that you've come to accept as true. Now along comes some information that challenges this belief, like a pesky little crack in your mental prison walls. How do you handle it? Do you keep an open mind, consider the new information, and maybe adjust your belief? Or do you feel a sudden surge of emotions like anger, anxiety, or dismissiveness? If you find yourself getting defensive, dismissive, or upset by facts or perspectives that don't align with your beliefs, congratulations, you've stumbled upon a sign that you might be living in Plato's mental prison. And here's the fascinating part. This emotional reaction is not just an instinctive human response. It's actually a clear indication that the prison's defense system is activating. You see, our minds have an incredible ability to protect what we believe in, sometimes to the point of refusing to even consider alternative ideas. Why does this happen? Because the information that contradicts your beliefs has triggered a threat response in your brain. Your mind perceives these contradictory ideas as a potential threat to your cognitive and emotional well-being. So it activates defense mechanisms to safeguard your existing beliefs and frameworks. These defense mechanisms are often unconscious, meaning you're not aware of them happening. They're like automatic pilot for your mind, taking over to protect your worldview without you even realizing it. But why would your mind be so protective of your beliefs? Can't it handle a little contradiction? Well, it turns out that our minds are incredibly sensitive when it comes to maintaining psychological equilibrium. This sensitivity is backed by a psychological concept known as cognitive dissonance theory. In simple terms, cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort we experience when we hold conflicting beliefs or when our actions do and align with our beliefs. It is like an internal battle within your mind where different thoughts and ideas are at war with each other. Imagine, for instance, that you're a heavy smoker who knows that smoking is bad for you. You're aware of the health risks associated with smoking, but you continue to smoke anyway. This creates a conflict between your belief that smoking is harmful and your action of continuing to smoke. To reduce this mental discomfort or dissonance, your mind might start playing some mental gymnastics. It might convince you that smoking isn't that bad for your health, or that the health risks are over-exaggerated. It might also start minimizing the importance of your health, or maximize the pleasure you get from smoking. Whatever it takes to make those two conflicting elements work together. This cognitive dissonance kicks into overdrive when our deeply held beliefs or frameworks are challenged. When confronted with information that contradicts our existing beliefs, our minds desperately try to reconcile the conflict by twisting the facts, rationalizing, or simply ignoring them. It's like trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. No matter how hard you try, it just doesn't work. Let's take, for example, a person who firmly believes that they are a highly skilled negotiator. They have a strong track record of closing deals, and they feel confident in their abilities. However, they come across this information that suggests otherwise. Maybe a colleague mentions that they made a costly negotiation mistake, or they read an article highlighting common negotiation blunders. When faced with this contradicting information, instead of reevaluating their skills, they might get angry or dismissive. They might start thinking, "How dare you question my expertise?" Or, "That information is outdated and irrelevant." It's like their mind is creating a wall around their belief, refusing to let any contradictory ideas through. This is where the concept of confirmation bias comes into play. Confirmation bias is our tendency to seek, interpret, and remember information that confirms our existing beliefs while ignoring or downplaying evidence that contradicts them. We essentially create a filter for ourselves, allowing only the information that supports our beliefs to pass through. For instance, let's say you a fan of a particular sports team and you convinced that they are the best team ever. You might actively seek out articles and opinions that praise your team's greatness and dismiss or ignore any information that suggests otherwise. You might selectively remember instances that support your belief while conveniently forgetting those that contradict it. This bias is so ingrained in us that we might not even be aware of it happening. It's like a default setting for our minds, but it can have a profound impact on our lives. By feeding us only information that confirms our existing beliefs, confirmation bias can reinforce stereotypes, prejudices, and misinformation. It can also lead to a lack of understanding and empathy towards others who hold different beliefs or perspectives. When we're so busy trying to protect our own beliefs, we leave little room for considering the validity of others. It's like building a fortress around ourselves, thinking we're being smart, but in reality, we're just cutting ourselves off from the world. And here's the irony. The more deeply ingrained our beliefs are, the more resistant we become to new information. This resistance can be driven by factors like group identity, emotional attachment, and the desire for social acceptance. When a belief becomes intertwined with our sense of self or belonging, challenging it can feel like an existential threat. It's like being asked to abandon your closest friend or family member. The pain and struggle involved in letting go can be immense. But here's the thing. The supposed stupidity isn't necessarily a failure of intellect. It's often a triumph of social adaptation. It's our mind's way of protecting us from the complexities and uncertainties of the world. By clinging tightly to familiar beliefs and frameworks, we create a sense of stability and consistency in our lives. It's like staying on a sinking ship. We might be surrounded by water, but as long as we're on the ship, we feel safe. However, this mental prison, as comforting as it might seem, can limit our growth, understanding, and empathy. It can prevent us from seeing the world in a broader perspective, and can hinder our ability to connect with others who hold different viewpoints. So what's the solution? How do we break free from this mental prison? Well, the first step is recognizing the signs, paying attention to how we react to new information, and being aware of our biases and the emotional baggage we bring to the table. It's about acknowledging that we all imperfect humans trying to navigate this crazy world, and that our minds are not infallible. But once you recognize the signs, what then? Well, that's where the real journey begins. It's about embracing uncertainty, questioning our assumptions, and being open to different perspectives. It's about facing the discomfort of cognitive dissonance head-on and using it as fuel for growth rather than a reason to retreat into our mental prisons. In essence, it's about becoming more aware, more empathetic, and more understanding towards ourselves and others. It's a continuous process, a lifelong pursuit of wisdom and enlightenment. And while it might not be easy, the rewards are immeasurable. As we wrap up today's discussion, I want you to remember that you are the architect of your own life. The choices you make, the actions you take, and the beliefs you hold are all part of the masterpiece that is you. Embrace the power of your choices and the beauty of your unique journey. If you found this video insightful, don't hesitate to share it with others. Let's spread awareness and break down the barriers of mental prisons together. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and keep shining your light brightly in this world.